Om Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Greetings, dear friends from around the world, and a warm welcome to this special episode of Lama Life livestream event with Lama Tsultrim Allione. I'm Dreamy, and it brings me great pleasure to connect with all of you as we gather as a Sangha on the final day of the year. And if you are joining us for the first time today, know that it's no coincidence and you are genuinely welcome here. At Tara Mandala, we are committed to being a welcoming, open, and safe community for practitioners and students of all cultures, races, religions, genders, sexual orientations, age, ability, and circumstances. As we reflect on the passing year and celebrate the connections that blossomed and the moments that we have shared, what better way to do so than in the presence of our teacher, guide, and inspiration, Lama Tsultrim Allione. Let's embrace this unique opportunity to be together live on New Year's Eve. Lama La, we feel so fortunate to have you here with us today. And it's now my big pleasure to hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Drimela, and greetings everyone from Costa Rica. We had rain for last night and also the day before, so everything here is cooled down and it's freshened up and it's just beautiful right now. I know that many of you are in colder, much colder climates, and there's people all over the world listening. Let's open the chat and see who's here. From where? Okay, I see people tuning in. Someone. Oh, you're the Caribbean coast, Thomas. Germany, Maui. Wow. So I thought, since it's New Year's Eve day, the day of New Year's Eve, then maybe we could do a little ritual together for our meditation. Does that sound good? You like that idea? Oh, there's someone from Budapest. I might be going to Budapest this year, almost this year in 2024. Mallorca, Ava Marie. I might go there too. Texas, New York, Michigan. Well, okay. So before I get started, I wanted to tell you about a retreat that's going to be produced by Tara Mandala that's really very unique, and you might not recognize it by the title of it. And so I wanted to tell you about it. It's such an incredible opportunity, really incredible. We're really excited to have this at Tara Mandala. So it's called the Sik Dun Zo. Sik means word, and Dun is meaning, and Zo is treasury. So it's the treasury of precious meanings, it's usually translated, or the treasury literally of precious words. So this is one of Longchenpa's 7 treasures. Longchenpa was a great yogi, a great Dzogchen yogi who lived in the 13th century. And he brought together all the different streams of Dzogchen lineages and then codified them and sort of put them into a form where they could really endure over the centuries. And he was incredibly poetic. His texts are beautiful. And what's important is this is a Dzogchen text, which is extremely esoteric. It's almost really unbelievable that he's going to teach it online. It has a lot of Togyal in it, which is the highest teachings of Dzogchen, and deep, deep explanations of the ground of being, the rupture from the ground of being, how do you return into union with the ground of being. So much deep meaning of words that are used in Dzogchen, like the ground of being, or the Dharma Dhatu, the Dharmakaya, and so on. It's really amazing. And it will be given by Azam Gyaltse Rinpoche. And it will be twice a week from February 14th to March 20th on Wednesday and Friday mornings. So in California, I will have to get up at 6 and be there at 6 at the teachings. And then it'll stretch out over the day for you all in Europe and so on. It'll be much later in the day. And so it's called the Tsik Dun Zo. And I think Dreame has a link to it. I just don't want you to miss it, because for me personally, I feel like I've been waiting for this my whole life. I've read it, I've read the translation of it, but Azam Gyaltse is very knowledgeable, and to get his personal teachings on it will be very unique and very special. And so I want to just bring it to people's attention, because when you hear it Tsik Dun Zo, that might not mean anything to you. Or maybe it does, and then I don't have to explain it. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you about that. And so, because it's New Year's Eve, I thought we could make some New Year's Eve resolutions. That's what you do, right? On New Year's Eve. And I think it's actually a powerful thing to do, to use something like the turning of the year, or it could be a birthday or another kind of anniversary, to make some specific personal commitments. Does that sound good? Usually people that are like, after the holidays, are like, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds or something like that. But let's connect this specifically to our personal practice, or something to do with our personal practice or our spiritual lives. And so let's take a moment, and first we'll generate the heart of enlightenment, or the heart thought of enlightenment, Bodhicitta. We'll raise that thought toward being together for the benefit of all beings. I have my hands in the one-pointed mudra. This is a one-pointed dedication to all beings. You can either do the mudra or not, it doesn't really matter. Mudras connect the mind with the body. So let's feel into our heart chakra in the center of our chest. There is a center of the subtle body called the heart chakra. And this is where in the subtle body our in-depth knowing dwells. So let's tune into that. And then generate that, cultivate it with the aspiration to be together today on this New Year's Eve for the benefit of all beings. My favorite time in Lama Live is our meditations, because I have a chance to not be speaking, and so I can go into meditation more deeply myself, and then I really feel our community. I feel the etheric bonds that join us, and I was just feeling that just now. It's beautiful. So let's take a moment and think about our path. We're all on a path. In a way, our path doesn't start anywhere and doesn't end anywhere. But also, in a more relative sense, our path does start somewhere and it does end somewhere. Being the age that I am, more and more of my friends are leaving their bodies, passing out of this life. And it's intense to feel that. I have a friend right now, her name is Jacqueline Jens, and she was Allen Ginsberg's secretary, and then she became a student of Namkha Norbu Rinpoche and a student of mine, and she was studying with Trungpa Rinpoche before that, and she's now in hospice, and I spoke to her yesterday. So it somehow makes the fact of our impermanence more vivid when your friends start leaving. It's kind of like there's more and more empty seats at the table. So let's feel our path, and feel each other, feel our Sangha, our beautiful online Sangha. And think about where you feel that your spiritual path began. When did it begin? When would you say, okay, that was really when it started? For many people, it's childhood. For others, it's maybe as a teenager. For others, later. Sometimes it takes a traumatic event to wake us up. Some people have a natural proclivity from childhood. So just take a moment and feel, where did it really start? When did I start to actually practice? And who were the beings that supported me, who handed me that book or took me to that teacher or said something to me? And then track how that developed, that original contact that you had. How did that develop over the years? Did you meet other people? Did you meet other teachers? For me, it really began with my grandmother at the age of 15 giving me a book called Zen Telegrams of little haiku poems. And little paintings. And somehow that triggered me. My grandmother actually was given Buddhist teachings by her professor when she was at Harvard Radcliffe getting her PhD in philosophy. Her professor, whose name was Josiah Royce, was interested enough in Buddhism to learn Sanskrit. And I never had the conversation with her about that, but I believe that's why she gave me the book, because she had been exposed. So, yes, feeling your connections, and then just sliding over the time period until now and looking at, wow, all those teachers, all the influences you've had, the retreats you've done, the practices you've done, the daily practice you've developed or not. And feel where you are today in terms of your practice. And then notice what you feel good about in terms of your path. Perhaps you've actually developed a daily practice. Many people who have gone into our long-term programs like Tantric or Magyu, the mother lineage, have for the first time in their lives really developed a daily practice. And maybe you haven't done that yet. Just check and see, where am I? Do I have some regrets about what I'm not doing or haven't done till now? Have I dropped the ball in some way? What do I want to commit to in the new year? What do I want to prioritize in the new year? Maybe you've committed to do certain retreats this year. And so let's make a resolution connected to our path. Something that you'll start tomorrow, New Year's Day. Some of you are in later time zones and closer to tomorrow than I am. And so, what do you want to commit to for 2024? And let's take a moment and write that down. Find a piece of paper, or you could write it in your phone, in your memos, or wherever you can keep it and not lose it. Sometimes having a piece of paper that you put on your shrine is good. And let's take a minute and write down what you're committing to. What's your resolution? Something realistic, something that you can actually do, not that you make it too ambitious and then you break it. What can you really realistically commit to? You got it? Yeah? Okay. Anybody who wants to, you can write yours in there. Okay, Josh. Consistent discipline with practice. What does that mean? Make that a little more specific, Josh. Like, is that daily practice? Is it, 1 hour of daily practice? The more specific you can be, the better. So let's see. Anyone else want to reveal their commitment? Yeah, so let's take a moment and actually say it out loud to yourself. That's a good one. So Shauna, first thing in the morning, that really helps, and it's hard, not to get on your phone when you first wake up. Actually, jump right into practice before you open your phone. Rajan, try to keep an open mind. You can't put try. You have to say, keep an open mind, and then define that. Oh, yeah, that's good, Maria. Acceptance of yourself in the present, including yourself. Nundro retreat, yeah. Formally take the 5 precepts. That's good. Yeah, so the more specific you can be, like I saw somebody put practical matters in order, like list what are those things that you need to put in order. If it's too vague, it's too vague. It ends up not happening because it's too vague. Yeah, get to bed earlier. That's a good one. Yeah. Yes, you can steal, Josh. 30 minutes of morning deity yoga. Nice. Oh, 3 times I think that's guru yoga, maybe. I'm not sure, Penny. If that's a misspelling. Lily. Stick with the Nundro. Good for you, Lily. Nundro's hard. Lots of people commit to Nundro until they do their first 100 prostrations. That's it. Like, oh, what did I get myself into? I always say Nundro's like going through the washer and the dryer. Like you can't come out the same on either end. You go through too much in the process. You knew you're from Budapest. Is it New Year already, George, over there? Yeah, more committed to my practice. So make that more specific, Martha. Like, what does that mean? More committed. Finish the way of the Bodhisattva study with the local Sangha. Nice. Awana has a few. Good. Beautiful. Wow. It's powerful to read your commitments. and probably to write them. You know, when you write it out and you put it out to all these people, then it's there. It's different than just like quietly saying it to yourself. Shoshana. Yeah, the longevity practice. Good, Natasha. Good, Lynn, I like that. It's not too ambitious, doable. To do it every day. Okay, Martha's getting more specific. Good. Better Tibetan literacy, yeah. Morning walk. Morning with writing. Yeah, dreams. I've started putting my dreams into my phone in my memo app because saying them into the phone is so much easier than writing them. And then the phone writes them for me. It's hard when you're half asleep to write. Good, Susan, 45 to 60. Continued online Tara Mandala classes, yeah. Less TV, yeah. Big waste of time. Okay, so thank you, everyone. It's inspiring to read these, and I'm going to hold you to it. No, you're going to hold you to it. And if you slip up, start again. Don't feel like, oh, I broke it, so I'm just going to kind of let it go. Just recommit. But one of the things about making a resolution is that you really are committing to it. And that's when we in some of our programs, we ask people if they want to take a samaya for a daily practice for a year. And then people can choose to do that or not. But then when they do it, people have told me that's so helpful, because until I made that actual samaya, that promise, I would break it. Okay, so next I'm going to, as sort of the middle part of our Lama life, I want to continue with the Semde lineage of Oddiyana. So these are 20 Semde teachers. Those are early Dzogchen teachers from Oddiyana, which was a place, some say, oh, it was a mythical place, it didn't really exist, but it did actually exist. And they say it's to the northwest of India, probably in the area around where Pakistan and Kashmir come together. There was a place called Oddiyana that was a very amazing Tantric community, out of which came Dzogchen teaching. And many enlightened women teachers there, to the point where it was called the land of the Dakinis. And this is where Guru Rinpoche Padmasambhava came from in the 8th century when he went to Tibet and established Tantric Buddhism in Tibet. Came from Oddiyana. So you say, Urjin Yoki Nuchapsam, that he came from the northwest country of Urjin. That's how the Tibetans say Oddiyana. So these are 21 teachers who preceded the teaching of Semde going into Tibet. And I've been going through them gradually, leading up to Vimalamitra and Sri Simha. And I'm now on number 10. I've actually been skipping around a little bit in the beginning, but lately I've been going a little more in order. So this one is called, his name is Atsantra Aloke. A little bit like my daughter Aloka, but with an E, A-L-O-K-E. Aloke. It means torch or light. And so Tantra Aloke was the son of Rishi Paratsa and Shonu Deje. So those were his parents. He had a deep knowledge of the teachings based on cause and effect, and aspiring ardently after the essential meaning. That's a Gongpe Don in Tibetan. Gongpe Don means meaning, and also Don can mean benefit. And Gongpa is, it's one of those words that translators are always arguing about because it's very hard to define Gongpa. It has to do with enlightened thought. So a Gongpa is like, it's not like an ordinary thought. It's an enlightened thought. And so it's the sort of the enlightened meaning, the Gongpe Dun, or the enlightened benefit. But here it really means meaning. So he's aspiring ardently after the essential meaning, the Gongpe Dun. So he asked Princess Kumadevi, who we did a few weeks ago, amazing, very, very important, one of these teachers, because she was very connected to Namkhe Norbu Rinpoche, and he had many dreams of her. And so he asked her, Kumadevi, for the essence of the teachings. She summarized their entirety for him thus. So in each of these teachings, the next one asks the previous one, what is the essential meaning of the teachings? And then that person tells them, okay, this is my essential meaning. And then that person says their essential meaning. So kind of like a lineage teaching. So then now this is Kumadevi's teaching. She says, aspiring after the levels, or sa is the word for bhumis. Bhumis are levels of realization. There's 10 or 13 bhumis, depending on which system you calculate. Aspiring after the levels of realization and the liberation, or the namtar, the complete liberation, which is a namtar is like a biography of a great teacher. And liberation means deviating from bodhi. So what she's saying is that when you aspire toward the bhumis and liberation, that means that you're actually deviating from that very thing that you are aspiring toward, which in the text is changchup ni. Changchup, chang is to purify and chup is to obtain. So it's the word for enlightenment. So you purify and then you attain. And then ni is itself, so enlightenment itself. So essentially what this is saying is by aspiring to levels of realization and liberation, the sa and the namtar, then that very aspiration means you're deviating from it. So we can think about this in terms of our vows that we just made, that in a way making those commitments is deviating from enlightenment, because what this is going to point us toward is that all of that efforting, all of those aspirations and commitments actually cause us not to realize the essential meaning. So let's take a moment and meditate on that. So feeling how your spiritual aspirations actually block you from experiencing enlightenment itself. So feel yourself drop your aspirations, your spiritual ambition, and drop into already effortlessly awake. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Already awake. Everything gets bigger. More space. Spaciousness. Okay. So that's the first thing she said. And then aspiring. So the word that in the Tibetan for aspiring is dona. Dana or dona. Do na. So that's the same word for wish. So it's an aspiration, but it's also a wish. It's like wanting something. Wishing to obtain happiness is the great suffering. This is what Komadevi is saying. Wow, so think about that. Feel that. Let go of trying to be happy and see what happens. Feel all the tension that's involved in wanting happiness. And drop it. That's good. So actually, the wish for, the aspiration for enlightenment is the great suffering. That wanting, that grasping, I want that. Let that go. Okay. Now, what does she say next? Wanting to attain or aspiring to attain the state beyond thought is another thought. Trying to not have thoughts is a thought. So let's try just dropping that in our meditation. Stop trying. Let's be careful with that one because I'll just stop talking. That would be the end of Lama Live. I have to have some thoughts. If you understand this, do not seek, and the other word that you could use for that Tibetan word is search. Do not seek or search for anything else. That's her advice. So I'll just read that whole section. Wanting levels of realization and liberation means delaying or deviating from Bodhi, Changchu Ni, enlightenment itself. Aspiring to obtain happiness is a great suffering. Aspiring to attain a state beyond thought is another thought. If you understand this, do not seek anything else. Do not search for anything else. So profound, these teachings. Okay, now let's see what he says back. Then Atstantra Alloke perfectly understood the meaning of the primordial state and expressed his realization thus. I am Astantra Alloke. Having perfectly mastered the method of elimination or cutting, I have interrupted the flow of birth. So in this case, he's talking about specific dharmic methods. So that, for example, the chut is a method of cutting. It cuts through. So any method of cutting, so having perfectly mastered that, I have interrupted the flow of birth, of things arising. So through cutting, I've liberated the arising, the birth. So let's try this. So let's try it with our aspiration, our New Year's Eve resolution. So think about your resolution. And then cut it. Cut through it. Just cut it. You feel the liberation of that. So this is where we have relative and absolute truth. At a relative level, it's very helpful to have these aspirations. And at an absolute level, we cut through them. And rest in open awareness. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then next one is having perfectly mastered the method of union, I have severed the limit of cessation. So these limits that they're talking about, because there's the limit of birth and there's the limit of cessation. So it's Kewa and Gakpa. So here it's saying union. So this word is jor, and it's kind of like it's sort of like secret language in a way, because jor can be used for the expression of sexual union practices. Jor, to come into union, to join. But jor can also be any kind of integration practice, like I'm sitting here in front of the ocean, I could jor with the ocean, like become one. So there's no journey between me and the ocean, it's one. So that's integration or joining. But this is more specifically about sexual union. So it's saying, having perfectly mastered the method of sexual union, I have severed the limit of cessation. So cessation is like cutting, stopping, akwa. So when we renounce our sexuality, we become a monastic. That's the cessation of sexual activity. Hopefully, it's supposed to be. And so, having perfectly mastered the method of union, I have severed the limit of cessation. So it's like I cut through the limit of renunciation, of cutting, stopping, like celibacy, stopping celibacy. Having perfectly mastered the method of beneficial deeds, that's the word is chinai. I have realized the absence of effort. So that's Oddiyana's translation, but I looked up effort, and it's soulmate. It's actually, that word is in our chud practice, and it means deliberate activity. So sort of effortful activity. Solwas, like trying. And so when you actually have mastered enlightened activity, then your actions are not deliberate. You don't have to like, I have to be compassionate, or I'm going to be patient. It just is. It's natural flow. And that's what this is talking about. Soulmate. Beautiful. It's a beautiful word. Deliberate activity. Having perfectly mastered the method of the cities, I no longer depend on the outside. So the cities are relative and absolute cities. The relative cities are sort of like spiritual powers, like walking through walls, walking on water, being able to multiply objects, and so on. So having perfectly mastered the method of the cities, I no longer depend on the outside. So if you have your own power, you're not looking externally for power or for empowerment. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Elaine. I am speaking from the book. Today, sometimes I work more even with the Tibetan, but teaching from the book. Page 40 now, at the bottom of the page now. Having perfectly mastered the method of meditation, I remain in my state without correcting it. So this to me is a little weird translation, but the word that he's translating as my state is nanwa, and it can also mean continuity. It's one of those very multi-meaning words, and so you have to kind of try to figure out how it's being used in whatever text it's being used in. So I think that here it would be better to translate it as continuity, because if you've actually mastered meditation, you have the continuity naturally of awareness, and then without correcting it. So the Tibetan there is machu, which means uncontrived or genuine. So all of these are talking about releasing effort. Stop efforting, stop trying, and really drop into the presence that's there underneath the trying. But it doesn't mean distracted. That's the trick also. If you stop trying, you could just think, oh, now I'll just be distracted. But that's not it. It's without effort and without distraction. So let's just try, sit for a moment in no effort and no distraction. Good. So that's a Santra Alloke. He's the 10th of these lineage teachers. How did that go for you? To be not distracted and not efforting. So it's awareness. So it's kind of like non-meditation meditation. How did that go? You feel the vastness of awareness, space. Yeah. Freedom, yeah. Aya Samshamata Vipassana. Free space, yes. Comforting, yeah. It doesn't last that long, yeah. That's a good, honest. So then when it doesn't last long, just do it again. Just, okay, I'm distracted now. Or I'm trying. So let's just drop the trying. I'm going to be teaching this in person several places this year in Switzerland, the end of October, and in June at Omega Institute, middle of June. Yeah, look at Omega Institute, a weekend, and then 5 days in Canada at Hollyhock Farm, called Non-Dual Awareness. I think it's called Relaxing into Effortless Present. Oh, good. You have the links. Do you have the Omega link? I think they have that up now. Anyway, we will put up a whole list of all my retreats this year. I'd love to meet some of you in person if I haven't yet, and if I have already, I'd like to meet you again. Lots of our dear Sangha here Can we come to serve you at Omega? I'm sure I could use some help there. Yeah. The Wild River in the Valley in Rahul. The friends of new friends. That was beautiful. So it's nice that you exist. Thank you. Yeah, we do. We're here for a while and then we go and then we come back, find each other. You know, I've lived long enough now, so I've known people in their past life and then in their next life as well, where I actually really know that it is that person for various reasons. Maybe they've been formally recognized or something like that. And it's a very interesting feeling when you meet someone that you did actually know, because the feelings that you have can then identify those kinds of feelings and then realize people that you don't know for sure that you knew before, but you know, oh, it's that same feeling I have with this person that I have with this person that I know I knew before. And so then you can begin to identify the people that you actually knew previously. And that's such an amazing feeling, that continuity. And I think it really helps with death too, to know that we will meet again, and maybe quite quickly. We might not be in the same form. I mean, we won't be the same age, but we will meet again. Especially if we make those aspirations in this life. You can actually formally take a vow to meet someone again and to recognize them. And always pray to meet the Dharma at birth. And you might say, well, wait a minute, I don't really want to come back. But, you know, most of us have taken the Bodhisattva vow. And so we will be coming back until all beings are liberated. And beings are limitless, so we'll probably just keep being together. Which I don't mind, actually. I'm not trying to get out of anything here. It's good. Life is good. It is a mandala, and it is as awake as we let it be. We block ourselves from our own awakeness more than anyone else blocking us or anything else blocking us. We block ourselves. So we can just let that go. Be together and wait. So beautiful. Oh, so Buonanno, Alessandro. Yeah. But if you want to meet someone again, you can just say, let's take that vow and then make the vow to each other. Yeah. They want to meet you again. Okay, Lauren, let's make that vow. Right now. Yeah. Someone be with me in defeating your demons. You're all welcome. Yes, may we meet again, life after life, and soon. You know, like we don't want to meet late in life, like early. To be reborn in the Dharma, in the family of the Dharma. That's an important aspiration to make. To meet the Dharma at birth. Yeah. Okay, so are any of you already in 2024? Maybe write into the chat if it's already midnight where you are, or past midnight. Sure, I think it's not yet in Europe, right? Yeah. Thanks, Lily. That's really sweet. You know, the holidays are hard. It's hard. in many ways for many people. There's a lot of family stuff that erupts around the holidays because usually, like with Christmas, parents are under financial stress and they're trying to get their kids what they want, but they might not be able to afford it. And then they go into debt or they overspend. And then there's organizing all the meals and everything. There's all the sugar that's going around. So, and there's loneliness. It's, everyone's together. Everyone has somebody to have a holiday with, and I don't. Or everyone has some, like a date for New Year's Eve, but I don't. Or I don't have a partner. There can be a lot of different things that come up around the holidays, and a lot of people have hard memories from childhood because of families, maybe abuse that took place during the holidays, like the abusive uncle came over, or I know a lot of stories about that. So, and I'm sure you do too. So it's nice to do Lama Live. I did Christmas Eve and now New Year's Eve. And so we can be together in the Dharma at these times. Of course, they can be beautiful and joyful. And I'm not saying all the holidays are, problematic or hard, but they actually are for a lot of people. And I think anyone who's a therapist knows that. Or you have to go into the family where there's lots of complex relationships. So I'm so glad that we could have this time together. And thank you for your relative aspirations for the new year. And also we had those moments of non-relative awareness, beyond efforting, beyond these commitments. And realized you can make it a commitment in your practice to always enter into that absolute state during your practice. That's important. It's the three holies, which is the aspirational Bodhicitta, entering the non-referential state, and dedication and merit. Those make a complete practice. They're called the Dhampasum, the three sacreds, the three holies. Bodhicitta, the non-referential state, and dedication. So, yeah, I'm just wondering if anyone has hard holidays. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of waste too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Nancy, we have such a deep karmic link now. We've been in the gateway for so long, and Lauren too. So I'm sure we will meet again. We're never lonely. Yeah, that's true. So let's end with that third sacred holy, the dedication of merit, and gather any positive aspirations that we've generated, any positive karma that we've generated together, and offer that out to all beings everywhere. Thank you, everyone. And much love. And whatever you do tonight, stay safe. And remember your aspiration. Write it down, put it on your shrine, keep it. Wonderful to be with you. Lots of love. Mwah. A beautiful community that we make together here. Tashidele Gail. Lama Jirme just left. He was here for a week. We went through this amazing process of the statues. I had the statue behind me now is now filled and consecrated. And then there's two more further back in the courtyard. You can't see, there's an Amitaya, long life, and Bodhicitta, purification deities. And it was an incredible process. Maybe I'll talk about that next time, what goes into that. Okay, everyone, lots of love. Mwah. See you next time, next week. I'll be there.
Thank you so much, Lama Tsultrim, for this unique opportunity to deepen our understanding and cultivate a sense of purpose in the coming year, and for your unwavering dedication to the Dharma and this community. Thank you. Thank you so much. And may your new year be just beautiful, Lamala. Thank you. And to all of you joining us live or through the recording, we are grateful for your meaningful presence. Today, we celebrate not just the end of the year, but each and every one of you for your engagement, dedication, and the journey we've shared throughout this year. Whether you participated in our online programs, immersed yourself in any of the self-paced courses, made the journey to Tara Mandala in Colorado for in-person or solo retreats, connected in practice with others through the ongoing offerings of our global Sanghas, or tuned into our daily open sit, live streamed from our sacred land through the Tara Mandala network, know that your efforts contribute to the relief of suffering and invite more ease and joy into both your life and the lives of those around you. Looking ahead, Tara Mandala's programs for the new year are incredibly exciting. I invite you to explore our website for more information to see what resonates with you the most and can nurture your path in the coming months. One program I'd like to highlight is a special virtual retreat with Lama Tsultrim and her son, Tulku Osel Dorje. This 3-day intensive program from January 19th to 21st is intended for members of the Osel Ningtik cycle. Together, you will learn Troma Nagmo's ultimate practice of Chö, known as the self-liberation of ego cleaning. This Chö practice that teaches the supreme form of generosity was revealed by Adzom Paler Rinpoche at Tara Mandala as a mind treasure. It's a precious opportunity not to be missed. Please keep in mind there is also Wisdom Rising podcast, releasing weekly with fresh insights and wisdom. Tune in through your preferred podcast app to receive guidance and inspiration directly from Lamala. And finally, following the tradition going all the way back to the time of the Buddha 2600 years ago, you have the opportunity to make an offering of Dana to Lama Tsultrim. Dana is a Pali and Sanskrit word that means generosity. Dana directly recognizes the precious gift of the teacher and the teachings, without which one could not practice the Dharma. If you would like to contribute through Dana, watch for the link in the chat shortly. Once again, thank you all for your practice and for being a part of this community. May the coming year be filled with growth, compassion, and auspiciousness of all kinds. May you be well and at peace. May we meet again and again on the path. And may all beings benefit everywhere.
Tare tu re Mangala